rest of the night. He almost got as big a pop as John Cena, the WWE champion. I mean, how does that happen? And he's the Intercontinental Champion. He's a mid-card wrestler. He almost gets a good pop as that. He's a top babyface in the company right now, and that's because this has been his breakout year. Last Armageddon a couple weeks ago, he beat one of the best in the game, Triple H. He beat Triple H, and now, 2007, he's going to kick it off strong by going against Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. How do you start off 2008 better than that? And you know why he's starting off 2008 better than that? How he's starting off 2008 so good? Because 2007 has been a great year for Jeff Hardy. But it's not only been good for Jeff Hardy, it has been good for CM Punk. CM Punk was a great independent wrestler. He's had classic matches in the independent circuit with guys like Samoa Joe and Bryan Danielson, among many, many others. Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, a bunch of guys he has wrestled and had great matches with and feuds. Samoa Joe, CM Punk, one of the best independent feuds I've ever seen in a long time. CM Punk comes into ECW as this hardcore straight edge type guy. And this is the kind of guy I am. I'm an athlete, so I'm hardcore straight edge. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't do anything. CM Punk lives up to everybody that's like me, that is straight edge, does not do drugs or anything, that thrives on competition. I like that character in CM Punk, and he has held the ECW title throughout 2007 after Bobby Lashley had to drop it. After Bobby Lashley dropped his title, Johnny Nitro had it. CM Punk had a great feud with Johnny Nitro. That feud could have been on a Monday Night Raw, part of Monday Night Raw storyline, but it was part of ECW because of where they were. And it's one of the best feuds that ECW will ever produce, because of the great chemistry and the great matches those guys had. But CM Punk eventually won the title, and lately he's been defending it against guys like Mark Henry, Viscera, a bunch of other guys. He's holding on that title very well right now. I like the CM Punk character. 2007 has been a great year for him, and 2008 will be a lot better for CM Punk. If CM Punk keeps this kind of stuff up for him, and keeps this kind of thing up for his character, I guarantee you, CM Punk will be a Hall of Famer someday. 5 years down the road, we will be talking about CM Punk being the WWE Champion and headlining many WrestleManias and many, many shows. Another breakout star comes from TNA. And looking at TNA, you can't see too many breakout stars because all the stars that they have in TNA are pretty much broken out. They have the past stars like Kurt Angle, Sting, Kevin Nash, Christian Cage. Now they have Booker T. These guys have already had their breakout years. AJ Styles has had his breakout year. Christopher Daniels has had his breakout year. Wildcat Chris Harris could have had his breakout year a couple of years ago, but he didn't. And it still isn't it this year. And no, it's not. James Storm could have had it this year, but it's really not. The breakout year in TNA, the breakout star for TNA is Kazarian. And how could you? And you're probably asking yourself, how could I be saying this about Kazarian? The guy just had a great match with Christian Cage, and then only got into a world title match with Kurt Angle towards the end of 2007 here in the past few months. But you know why I can say that? Because TNA does not book too many breakout years for anybody. Kazarian, they booked it perfectly. Kazarian goes in there out of his element in his first ever ladder match against Christian Cage, the guy that's been in many, many ladder matches in front of WrestleMania, and on WrestleMania he's had ladder matches in front of many, many thousands of fans. So Christian Cage was used to this kind of element of a ladder match, and Kazarian was not. And that match could have been it's probably a match of the year candidate in many places, I'm expecting, because that match was phenomenal. And Kazarian won that. There's a lot of emotion in that match, and that TNA crowd on that pay-per-view night loved it. They ate it up. And then the next Impact, they used Kazarian's title shot right away. I have a problem with that. Is because I think it could have drawn it out for Kazarian. It could have made it even bigger for Kazarian. Kazarian could be going into 2008 right now, challenging Kurt Angle for the World Heavyweight title in a very big feud, but TNA opted not to do that because they're idiots. And yes, I said that TNA is idiots. But Kazarian is still staying strong in TNA. This has been his breakout year towards the end here. He's the best breakout star I've seen in TNA right now, because really, there's nobody that you can say that's really broken out in TNA, who's really broken away from the pack. That's really making a character of themselves other than a couple other guys. But, AJ Styles has already been there. Christopher Daniels has already been there. Tomko's been there. I mean, really, Kazarian stands out. And he's only done this in the past couple of months. Think of that. Kazarian for the past couple of months. Imagine what TNA could do with a breakout star if they would have done it throughout the entire year. So 2008 is still going to be good for Kazarian. Or Kaz, as they call him in TNA. Frankie Kazarian, whatever you want to call him. 2008 will be a great year for him. I guarantee you that. And I guarantee you he'll have a couple more world title matches in 2008 also, because of the character he has and the way the fans love his character. The way they ate him up when he won that world title match bout, that world title shot. They ate it up! Man, was that awesome. That was an awesome night. The crowd just loved it. But again, worst angle, best wrestler, worst wrestler. For every breakout star, There is a disappointing star, where 2007 should have been a breakout year for him. Or he just had a lackluster year if he's already had his breakout year. But a guy that 2007 should have been his breakout year is Kennedy. That's right, I said Kennedy. Yes, the Green Bay native has messed up 2007. 2007 should have been the year that we looked at Kennedy and said, this guy is a future world champion in the making. We should have said that. And many people were saying that in the beginning of 2007. But over the last 8-9 months, Kennedy has lost that talking. Lost a lot of that. Lost a lot of his luster, if you will. First, it was Kennedy. He won the Money in the Bank match. And that pretty much guarantees he gets a WrestleMania main event if he chooses. And they had a storyline written that they're going to build him up to WrestleMania of the next year, where he'd be fighting for the world's title, if you will, or whatever title he chose. But he got injured. Not really his fault, but again, his character took a standstill. Then he goes to Raw in the draft, and everybody looks at Raw as the Major League of Professional Wrestling. It's the Major League Baseball. You want to talk about baseball analogies? Raw is MLB, and SmackDown is AAA, and ECW is AA, if you will. When you get brought to Raw, you're Major League. We thought Kennedy was Major League. We said, this is it. Kennedy is going to get the title, do it towards the end of this year, or at least fight for it in a hard-fought feud. But no. He gets busted using illegal substances, prescription drugs, after the Chris Benoit death knowledge investigation of pro wrestling and such. Kennedy messed it up for himself again. He was going to be Vince McMahon's son. And Kennedy was going to become the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, because Stone Cold Steve Austin's been teaching Kennedy things from what Kennedy says. So he talks to Stone Cold on a weekly basis. He's like Stone Cold's protege. But no, he was going to become the Stone Cold of this era. He become Stone Cold, you know, like if he was his son. You know, he become the don't listen, you know, the misbehaving son, if you will. Kennedy was going to be the Vince McMahon, but he got caught with those legal substances, and he was booted out of it, and now Hornswoggle took his spot. Hornswoggle's had a great year because of that now. And Kennedy? Oh, what have we seen from Kennedy, really, after that? Saw him get thrown right back into the mix without any hype whatsoever? Have him show no emotion like Carlito? Oh, yes, we've seen it. He gets in the ring with Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. A 5-time champion. The showstopper. You know, he's been compared to greats like Ric Flair, Harley Race, Hulk Hogan, The Rock. He's right up there with everybody, Shawn Michaels is, because he's been around for a long time. Him and Undertaker. You know, those two are the greatest wrestlers of all time, I believe. He gets in there with Shawn Michaels. Should be so hyped. And he's not. Has a lackluster performance with Shawn Michaels. How do you do that? Shawn Michaels is a common denominator. Nobody, even if people themselves have a lackluster performance, Shawn Michaels picks it up and says, you know what, I'm the common denominator. I gotta make myself look good, make this guy look good, so everything's good. You know, the guy could be a completely sucky wrestler, and Shawn Michaels can make him out to be the best wrestler in the world. He could have made Kennedy out to be that, but Kennedy refused to do it. Kennedy had a lackluster performance. And Shawn Michaels still couldn't bring him back. He was so far behind with his lackluster performance against Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels cannot bring him back. That's why I say Ken Kennedy is a disappointing star of 2007. 2008, he better get his confidence back. And I can see why people say Kennedy has lost his confidence. It's because whenever the guy